Welcome back, and more SVRA action coming your way here at the WeatherTech Raceway, part of the Trans Am Speed Fest, live from the WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna, Seca.
Now these are my favorite cars.
You say that in every group. You say that in every group.
But this group has my favorite little British cars. But there we go. We're going to start right there. Look at this beautiful car, the Donnybrook team. They brought, not only do they always bring the prettiest race cars, but also they always bring a paddock car to drive around. And this year it's a Ferrari 250 from the 60s. At the Sebring, they brought a Jaguar Mark I that was just pristine, and that's how they get back and forth to the hotels and everything. So it's just a lot of fun. Right there, that's the number 52. So we are in group 1, 3, 4, and 5B. The small bore production cars, the Lotus 23Bs and Cs. There's a couple of specials out there. There's a SCCA Sports Racer. So we have all kinds of stuff out here. But that number 177 right there that looks kind of like the Paddy Hopkirk Monte Carlo Mini, driven by Dennis Racing.
I'm saluting. I'm saluting. That is a Paddy Hopkirk Mini if ever I saw one. Look at that.
Beautiful. So Dennis actually runs the website for minimania.com where you can get all your mini parts, and his dad just sold the company, but his dad is in that yellow car. That's the number 54 there. Trying to find that.
Gilbert Hackham.
Oh, nice. And look at this Lotus 11. That is a beautiful car. You need to get up close to that. That's Steve Sannett right there. That's a 1957 Lotus 11 Le Mans. Can you say Le Mans?
Le Mans.
That's the right one. I'm too southern to be able to say that. The number 164, that's Mark Hugo, a 1964 Porsche 356C. But anytime anybody comes to the grid with wire wheels, they have my attention. So that Lotus 11 with wire wheels. You can see there that Jaguar in the back, the white Jaguar. That is James Alder from Reno, Nevada. He drives that to the track. He drives it home.
Yeah,
that's
I know.
That's his way to the hotel. That's his way to the track.
And by the way, he drives it from Reno.
Yeah, Reno, Nevada. I don't know how geographical you are, but that's quite a drive over the Sierras.
I asked him, I said, well, what happens if it rains? He said, I put my goggles on. And he said, but you wouldn't believe, he said, the amount of pipping and all the rest of it. He said, people literally slow down to hang out with me, and you know, he gets a cavalcade going.
Yeah, it's almost dangerous. People are driving and trying to take a photo at the same time. Look at this beautiful Triumph TR4, TVR, Porsche 356. You know, we're going to go through this because I want to just, and when the race starts, I want to see how many different manufacturers and specials are represented here. So I'm going to do my best. So Gear Ramieth in a 1963 Lotus 23B starts out first in a white and red. Mark Brannon in second, Lotus 23C from 62. Travis Engen in that beautiful red 1962 Lotus 23B with a Red Bull helmet. Randall Green, 1963 Lotus 23B. John Fudge, 1961 Huffaker Genie MK3, beautiful car. Greg Meyer, 1959 Sadler MK4 Special, white and blue. Arthur Cook, 1965 Elva Mark 8. Keith Ayers, Elva Courier Mark III from 1963. Robert Bowden, 1957 Devin Ryan Special. Don Racine, 61 Austin Mini Cooper S. Arthur Connor in a 59 Devon D. Harris Koenig in a 1987 Renault Sports Racer. Dennis Racine, a 66 Mini Cooper S, that Paddy Hopkirk Monte Carlo Mini looking car. Gilbert Hakeem in a 72 Porsche 9144. Here's to delineate that. Steve Sannett, Lotus 11
Le Mans.
Mark Hugo, Porsche 356C, 1964. Mike Denman, 66 Marcos, 1800 GT. Ladies and gentlemen, we're not even halfway through this beautiful group. Jeff O'Neill, you were speaking about him in the HTA group, a 1960 Maserati T61.
I'll be amazed if he's out there because he's just finished the last race.
I'd be amazed if Joe Walsh is right and that Maserati goes 185. Edward Hugo in the 1958 Chevrolet Corvette. Jim Storr, 63 Lotus 23B. I'm going to try to go fast. Mark Francis, 63 Elva. Robert Manson, Baldwin Mercury Special. Paul Conkle, MGB. It's his first time here. Ranson Webster, Porsche Abarth GTL. Beautiful car. Bob Roth, Genie, 1963. James Longstaff MGB GT, Michael Allen, 1970 Porsche 914. I'm trying to hurry. John Ganaway, Triumph TR4, Rick Carlisle, TVR Vixen, Mike Sweeney, Porsche 356, Ned Spiker, and I got to give it back to you, and we've got 10 more to go, Jonathan, as we take the green.
There'll be a delay. Let's go! What a group of racing cars we have out on display. A real, absolute walk through history through Group 1, 3, 4, and 5B. The green flag waves, and away we go. And as you say, as you went through the names, it really is nostalgia city here at Laguna Seca. Love it. And everybody's safely going through the first corner.
I had a 63 Triumph TR4. They are torquey little cars. It's a beautiful car right there.
So away we go then, and it'll only be just over 12 minutes of a race, but it doesn't matter. It's going to be pure fun to watch.
John Ganaway in that pristine British racing green. Triumph TR4. There's Travis Engen in that Lotus 23. Lots of Lotus 23s, but look at these minis. These little Group 1 minis are keeping up with these big cars.
I think a mini would be awesome down the corkscrew. It would be frightening, but it would be awesome.
Yeah, you can't see, and then all of a sudden it just drops out from you. It's really fun.
Lights blazing. Our rally style.
Look for that Lotus 11 coming through. Same with that Marcos.
Yeah, Jim Alder, you mentioned him earlier. He's a real character, and I bumped into him literally on the way in yesterday, and he was delighted to be here. And he comes to the Monterey Classic as well, and he races mostly on the West Coast, up in Seattle and so on. But like you say, drives to the track. And I said, "What group are you?" And he said, "I don't know, some group that they put me in. I'll just enjoy it."
He just has fun. And last weekend he was with us at Sonoma Raceway.
Yeah,
racing wheel to wheel in his beautiful Jaguar with a real Jaguar C-Type, and they were having a blast. It was a beautiful sight. As we look at Mark Brannon takes the lead in that black Lotus 23B over Gear Ramleth in his 5B FMG.
Randall Green in third place, followed by John Fudge and Travis Engen.
Look at that take the corners. Look at how low that is. That is such a neat car.
It's like a massive, it's like a go-kart, how low you are.
Yeah. So again, this is groups 1, 3, 4, and 5B. So those Mini Coopers are not fighting against those Lotus 23s up front. They're in group 5B.
Yeah.
So John Fudge is the first Group 4 car that we're going to see. That's that number 156. That's Travis Engen there in the number 1 car.
And very lightweight too, these cars, aren't they?
They are, yeah. John Fudge is in that 1961 Huffaker Genie.
Now the Huffaker, they're from the West Coast, right? The Huffakers?
Yeah. They have a shop at Sonoma still.
That's right.
Greg Meyer is in that Sadler MK4 back there, that white car, if you're wondering what that is. But that's the Huffaker Genie right there, and then followed by that beautiful white car. Greg Meyer in the 1959 Sadler. Look at that. I've been a car person my whole life, but I'll come to these events and be like, what in the world is that?
Yeah.
You know, it's just crazy, and I love it. The eclectic, the diversity of the cars out here is just so much fun to watch. Look at how different those look, but those are both Group 4 cars.
Yeah.
Look at those fenders. That's like form and fashion all right in one.
Yeah, that is a pretty car. So you're watching day 1 of the SVRA Trans Am Speed Tour here in California, our third stop for the national championship when it comes to Trans Am. And for SVRA, just another weekend.
Yeah.
Just another weekend.
Arthur Cook in the 65 Elva, Mark 8.
But besides the rain, Sonoma good? Worth going?
Oh, Sonoma was awesome, and I loved the rain. Makes for some very interesting racing. And we see Don Racine in that yellow Mini. He won the Saturday race, and his son Dennis won the Sunday race in Group 1. That's the car I love, though. That's Robert Bowden right there in that number 22 Beautiful car. That's a 1957 Devin Ryan Special. He always brings beautiful, pristine cars prepared by Donnybrook, but look at that. It kind of has glimpses of the Ferrari Testarossa.
And also, it's almost like a Ferrari stroke Jaguar E-Type.
It's the love child of a Jaguar and Ferrari, right?
There you go.
As they come down, there's that other Devin, the number 52. Arthur Connor, Devin D, 1959. And then that Lotus 11 Le Mans car. Beautiful stuff. So look at this. This is kind of neat because here you have front engine, rear wheel drive cars, front engine, front wheel drive cars. You've got some air cooled rear engine, rear wheel drive cars. It's just such a mix. And they take the lines so differently. Look at that Mini. The balance is so different. So that mid-engine Porsche 9144, I'd call that a mid-engine. Front engine, transverse mounted Mini Cooper.
I need some headlights like that.
Drive. That Elva is more like an MGB with a front engine rear wheel drive. So just a lot of fun, total diversity, but they're running quite similar lap times. Look at the lean on that. Now it's not uncommon for Don Racine to hang a wheel and to kind of tripod.
Oh yeah.
Because you're trying to use the gyroscope, so that front wheel drive. So if you have the cojones, we'll call it, to keep into it, and you can just keep those front wheels spinning, the traction will come, and you just hope that that rear end doesn't swing out on you. That's his son Dennis Racine there. This is some good stuff. I love the cars when they have headlights like that. They just really show up. That number 54 of Gilbert Hakim and the 1972 Porsche 9144.
That is the most interesting looking Porsche. It just doesn't look like any other Porsche out there, does it?
No, and I think there's some Volkswagen lineage to that. That's back when Volkswagen and Porsche got together, and Porsche kind of wanted to have an entry-level Porsche. And the reason we have that delineation, we had last weekend with us a 9146, which was like more of a Porsche 914 with a 911 engine package. And all the Porsche engines just fit. And Volkswagen engines can fit into these Porsches too. It's just 4 little bolts. They just kind of bolt right in these air-cooled Porsches. And so obviously 911 air-cooled engine has quite a bit more power in a 6-cylinder than a 4-cylinder. So that's why we delineate that. A 9146 would be running in our Group 8.
Gear Ramleth now taking the lead up from Mark Brannan. Randall Green still third. Yep.
Maybe. Dennis is going to try the over-under.
Swings it out.
Those are almost bicycle tires on that Lotus 11. Look at how skinny those are. That's the Colin Chapman of Add Lightness, in that like almost looks like an airplane. It's like he made an airplane fuselage and put some wheels on it.
Yeah. They're still at it. Oh, lock up.
Dennis locks up. Look at this.
Now he's in trouble. Oh, no, he's got the power down. Good boy.
These are cars you wouldn't often see racing, but
no.
they're going about the same lap times, and Dennis does not like to get past no matter what car it is. And that beautiful Lotus 11 with that chrome polished aluminum underbelly. Beautiful car.
So under the Cooper Bridge they come into turn 3. Time running out in this group session. We've got more racing to come. We've got the qualifying for the TA and XGT Championships coming up. Looking forward to that. An important qualifying session in these cooler conditions as well compared to the rest of the day. It's going to be interesting to see how they get on. Tommy Dreesy will have had a shower after his HTA exploits, and will jump back into his TA car.
Come on, Steve. Take him at the corkscrew. Let's see what you got here. 40 cars started in this field.
Yes, massive,
How
isn't it?
cool is that? That's the 164 Mark Hugo, 1964 Porsche 356C.
Yeah, I saw that arrive yesterday. I was doing the little opener at the entrance, and that arrived, and I said, hang on, stop, I got to watch. He gave us a wave.
Yeah. Oh, it's such a cool car. Look at how they just kind of fall down the corkscrew. You're not piloting as much when it has a long hood like that, as you're just waiting for the horizon to come back to you.
Well, and I was saying to Adam Andretti, it's amazing. This Porsche that you're looking at is what, 1964? And yet that when you see a modern day 911 or a Carrera out there, that it's the same car. There's no doubting it. It's so distinctive. I don't think any other manufacturer in the world has managed to create a car that's gone on for 50 years and still looks like the silhouette stroke car that it sort of started out as. It's amazing.
Yeah, and even just to the Volkswagen Beetle lineage as well. But there's Jeff O'Neill in that 1960 Maserati T61. Look at the front fenders of that, almost like motorcycle fenders on this car. The form and the fashion of this car is unbelievable. Yeah,
Jeff was struggling with I mentioned it earlier, with the transmission on this car earlier in the weekend, and got it going again. So he said it was a joy to drive, but a handful, that's for sure.
Oh, I bet. We had some great races with him and Dennis Racine. If you go to the SVRA Facebook page, just a couple days ago I posted car to car of those two cars battling, and they shouldn't. You know, they're set up so differently. They shouldn't be competing, but turns out they had a great competition here as the leader takes the last lap sign, number 21 of Gear Ramleth, 63 Lotus 23B.
Final lap then of our Group 1, 3, 4, and 5B.
Look at how smooth he is.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, he doesn't look like he's working it, does he?
And you have to be smooth to drive these cars. These momentum cars, you can't really wheel them around like you can some of these stock cars. You got to be very smooth, because any tiny little twitch to the gas, the throttle, the brakes, or the wheel, any too much input, those things go spinning quickly.
Yeah. No, these guys are. I don't think historic drivers get the credit they deserve for how they handle these cars, because they are a handful. You don't get the sort of modern gizmos that help you out and help you driving. This is pure driving with absolute feel, with both your hands and your butt.
We've had some, I'm not going to name names, but we've had some professional GT drivers and somebody that qualified for the Indy 500 that got into a 68 Camaro and said, "Oh, I can't drive a stick." And he looked at us like, "How dare you? I'm a paddle shifter." So, yeah, a lot of the new modern GT drivers could never drive one of these cars because they couldn't get it out of first gear.
That's not good.
That's not good.
How can you be a racing driver and not drive a stick? Anyway, final lap then, and it looks as though Gear Ramleth, the smooth turning number 21, will make it to the last corner as the fog rolls in. At just the appropriate time. We're almost done here for day one. And to the checkered flag he comes after what was a consummate performance here at the raceway. Well done to him.
Beautiful. Let's stay on this camera here. Go back to that last turn, because I want to see these groups come in. So that was our Group 5B winner. Here comes Travis Engen there, fighting with our first in the Group 4, I believe.
Mark Brannan taking second, Randall Green third overall. Travis Engen, as you just mentioned, in the number one.
Look at that. Look at this red Maserati here, coming up with that TVR Vixen. Oh, beautiful. We didn't get to see that, but that's a sculpture. You know, we have the tagline, "Some people collect art, we race it." That person is living that dream right there as we look at this Don Racine coming in with that number 64, 356. I love this stuff. Oh, we might have a little pass here. There's Jim Alder. So it looks like he's one more race away from being able to drive that car home. We did have problems a couple years ago, remember, Jesse, at Portland. I think he blew out a rear wheel bearing. And that's not something, radiator, yeah. But that's not something you can really go to like Napa and say, "Hey, I need a part for a 1950 Jaguar."
Well, he was telling me some war stories about, lines along the road, things that can go wrong, and what do you do, you really are. I mean, you're stuck in the Nevada desert somewhere. Like you say, who are you going to call? So, yeah, there's been some interesting times. You could write a book on what he gets up to in that car. It's good stuff.
But he's an interesting man. Just like I said, our paddock is full of some of the most interesting men in the world. It's like that beer commercial, the most interesting man in the world. Our paddock is full of them, and he works for the Native American Indian reservations and the foundations and works with them and has such a cool job, goes and visits all the reservations, so it's so much fun to watch.
Okay then, quick check on the race results for our Group 1, 3, 4 and 5B. Gear Ramleth with that 21 Lotus 23B with the win. Mark Brannan likewise in a Lotus, and it's a Lotus 1, 2, 3, 4 as Randall Green and Travis Engen cross the line in fourth place. John Fudge is fifth in that Huffaker Genie Mark III. The Saddler is just behind him for Greg Mayer. Elva, the Devlin Ryan Special, a Devlin D and an Elva Courier. Kevin Ayers, I saw a closer look at that, and that was a lovely car. It's just behind our commentary position, parked up earlier this morning. And he rounds out the top 10.